My name is Antoinette Chanel and welcome back to my channel. Harry and Meghan have been in the news quite a bit over the last couple of weeks, so I'm just going to give yet another media update and analysis on their latest happenings and doings. So the first thing that stands out and that I want to talk about today is the fact that Meghan told us through a post on her Instagram that she relaunched recently that Guy the dog has passed away. Automatically, I was struck because we literally just saw Guy in the trailer for With Love, Meghan. There was a moment where he was snoring and she broke for a second to say, oh, Guy is snoring. We also saw Guy on the Christmas card that the Sussexes released in December 2024. I believe Guy is the middle dog that is closest to Lilibet in the picture of question that everybody's been analyzing. And Meghan gave us a montage of videos and photos, just moments from Guy's life that also conspicuously seem to feature moments from With Love, Meghan, as it was just filmed for Netflix. But anyway, all that to say, as someone who didn't really have much of a consciousness of Guy until very recently, I knew Meghan had dogs. We had seen her pictured with dogs, and I think she's mentioned Guy before, but we don't hear about the pets very often. So as somebody who was not totally aware of Guy, it seems a little odd that I was introduced to him, I've been shown these images of him, and now suddenly he's gone. And in your post to mourn him, you also seem to have a lot of content that alludes to the Netflix show, which, hey, fine. Maybe he was on set every day that she was filming that show. I have no way of verifying that. It's just, how come we didn't see him in other stuff before? Like, shouldn't we have seen him sprinkled throughout the Sussexes media, you know, like on other Christmas cards or, you know, in other videos or things like that? It just seems like the emphasis on the dog is ramping up at a time when I have to wonder, well, what else does this play into? Does this correspond with the launching of the show? Because as I record this, that show still hasn't premiered on Netflix yet. Today is January 12th, and that show is supposed to premiere on the 15th on Netflix. So we still haven't actually gotten to the launch of that, and it seems like drumming up interest in this dog that has now passed away, that people will now know will appear in some capacity on the show, drums up interest in the show. That's just speculation, but it seems like a media ploy to get sympathy and interest in the dog that wasn't there before. I mean, did she have a podcast episode talking about her pets? Did he ever interrupt any episodes by barking? I'm just wondering, did we see the dog anywhere else? Just kind of seems like we've been led into mourning this pet, and I will happily mourn this pet. I love animals, especially dogs. So rest well, little Guy. There's also been a lot of speculation around when this dog passed away and, you know, the timing of this announcement, so on and so forth. So, you know, that's a little fishy and it does seem odd. It does seem like there was an orchestrated attempt to lead us into feeling and thinking for Guy that seems conspicuous and wasn't there maybe 6 months ago. I mentioned timing a little bit ago, and the timing is very unfortunate with oh God, 2025 came in burning hot, all right? And that's not anybody's fault except for the people who decided to light torches and make it much hotter for us than it ever needed to be. Referring to events that happened in Montenegro, events that happened in New Orleans and other parts of the United States where gun violence continues. Those are just a couple of the things. It's been tragic and it just is what it is. I don't think any of us wanted to wake up on January 1st and see that there had been a massacre and innocent people lost their lives because somebody was unhinged and decided to take matters into their own hands. But with that being said, so we had those tragedies that I just mentioned, but then there's also a developing tragedy in Southern California with massive wildfires engulfing the communities of Pacific Palisades, Altadena, and other areas. There's too many of them for me to list right here. I will put links in the description that not only refer to just good sources of information for what's happening right now, but some areas where you can donate if you feel compelled to donate to the charities who are on the ground in Los Angeles helping to support people. But with that being said, it's sort of making the announcement and the rollout for the show, for Meghan, just fall even flatter. And I have a hard time blaming her for that entirely because, like I said, it's not like she orchestrated these tragedies that kicked off 2025. But the unnerving part of Meghan, the reason why I criticize her so openly and why I take issue with all of her PR attempts is that the choices she's making in this moment aren't giving the impression that she's hoping for. So, in the wake of a tragedy, springing up to be someone who helps, assists, guides people, offers support, that's all really nice and noble and beautiful. And I do celebrate people who do that, whether they are notable celebrities or not. But you have to actually help. And so when I see Meghan and Harry walking around the scene of devastation where a house has burned down in a neighborhood where a whole neighborhood's been wiped out, seeing them walking around, I mean, are they fire inspectors? Do they have any sort of special knowledge when it comes to architecture or structural damage or anything like that? Okay, maybe they don't. Maybe they were just bringing a lot of supplies to support the first responders. Did we see that? We know that these two love PR and they love their photo ops. So if they dropped off a truckload of waters, or if they brought over a catered lunch from a local restaurant or whatnot, wouldn't there be a photo of that circulating around? The same way that there's a photo of Meghan giving hugs to the mayor of Pasadena and other people behind the scenes. I want to see you actually helping. I don't want to just hear a bunch of empty virtue signaling from you guys. And hey, if you can't help because that is outside of your scope, that's outside of your financial ability to do so, that's fine. I'm not here to say that because you are a celebrity or a notable person, you have to be out here saving the world. But if you're gonna help, you better actually help. Don't just show up to give hugs to people, Meghan. Like, ugh. And this is backed up by the fact that they released a statement encouraging people to help. Open your homes to people who need it. Please donate to those in need. Here are well, actually, hold on. No, they didn't say here are organizations. They said donate to the Archwell Foundation. And we will make sure that that stuff gets distributed to the organizations who are on the ground and helping. Because Archwell's not a fire-related charity, I don't know why they felt the need to show up and plug this. You guys literally use Archwell for everything. So mental health crises for young people, veterans, fighting racism, pick a lane. And so this centering of Archwell and centering of Harry and Meghan as these, wonderful people who are out here supporting and compassionately leading their community as they try to pick up and move on. The nonverbal cues that I see in the footage of them doesn't have me convinced. They're there, but I don't get the sense that anyone is being helped by them being there. Like, this could have been accomplished in a phone call or a text message to those same people who they're walking around amongst. Again, I'm looking for something more tangible than just your presence and you walking around and maybe giving some hugs to people. I want to see, where's the checks that you're writing? Where's the in-kind donations that you're making? I don't see it. It all just seems like a lot of empty virtue signaling. Another point, and one that's kind of minor, but one that I have to make. I noticed that Meghan was walking around in an LA Dodgers hat. So I did some digging and I was able to find other pictures of her in like a Y7 LA hat years ago. I found a couple of other pictures from years ago, like before her royal time, where she was wearing an LA Dodgers hat. So it's not like this is the first time she wore it. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying that as a Giants fan, I was a little surprised to see her in a Dodgers hat. I'm usually aware of the Dodgers fans. I take note of them because Giants and Dodgers have a bitter rivalry, one that I'm happy to engage in. Wouldn't appearing in a Los Angeles branded hat at the scene of a Los Angeles-based tragedy just seem like perfect PR gold? If you want to appear to be among the people, like you're one of them, dressing up in a hat like that seems like a really good way to accomplish that. Now, again, she could be a legitimate fan. I don't know. Maybe the palace told her you can't rep for any sports teams while you are repping for us. I could very easily see that being the case. And she's not usually pictured in casual dress like this. I mean, even when she's going to charity basketball games, Meghan is wearing dresses with high slits and plunging necklines that show off her cleavage. So maybe that's why I haven't seen her in a Dodgers hat. until now. But wearing that Dodgers hat at that moment, that just seemed way too orchestrated in my opinion. She's trying to appear as relatable and as a commoner, as one of the LA folk, even though she technically doesn't live in Los Angeles. She lives in Montecito, which is about 2 hours north of that. Again, it just seems like a really cheap way to change perception or manipulate perception of Meghan, and I'm just not buying it. I think you fished that hat out and put it on because you knew how you wanted to look that day. And maybe some people are buying it, but I'm not. Above all else, as pointed out by several other commentators, I am not the originator of this, and it's something that has become obvious over the years, but this whole push, all of this PR stuff right now, this is in response to the fact that Catherine, Princess of Wales, just recently had a birthday where she turned 43. And after the year that Catherine, Princess of Wales has had, her celebrating a birthday is kind of a big rejoice and sigh of relief for a lot of us, not the least bit of which her husband, Prince William. If you haven't yet and you care to, look up the tribute that William wrote to his wife. It's short and sweet, very beautiful, but we get a new portrait of her. And I think that it's just very indicative of the fact that even these royals, these people who are actual royals, even they had a rough 2024, you guys. Even they're humans just like us. Meghan and Harry's moves at this moment specifically seem geared towards capitalizing on some of the momentum that will come from Catherine's birthday and the announcement, her portrait being released, and just interest in the royals. And, you know, Meghan and Harry glomming onto that and sort of pulling some of the eyes towards whatever it is that they are doing, because they are not more popular than Catherine. They do not pull more eyes than Catherine. They do not command more attention than Catherine, Princess of Wales. Another example of them doing this happened with Trooping the Color, and we can talk more about that in a different video, but the bottom line is Harry and Meghan love to release stuff around when the royals are actually doing stuff, especially Catherine. And as I've said in other videos before, it's really too bad that Harry and Meghan spend so much time focused on what other people are doing rather than turning inward and focusing on what they are doing, especially since they are supposed to be stewards of positive mental health and looking after one's mental fitness, as they term it, in healthy ways and on an ongoing basis. But one of the reasons why people love Catherine, Princess of Wales, is that she doesn't engage in that. She doesn't stoop. She doesn't respond to the trolls and the many people who like to drag her, like to accuse her of things, and like to label her as being someone who she absolutely isn't. And so I just wish a heartfelt happy birthday to Catherine as well. 2024 was also a difficult year for me health-wise, so seeing her prevail and be healthy and happy today is just, it warms my heart. It makes me happy, just like with everybody else. And on that note, friends, I gotta get going. That's it for this video. But if you have comments about how you think that this whole media perception with Harry and Meghan is going, please leave them for me in the comment section. I love to hear from you. Please also make sure that you stay subscribed to this channel so you don't miss my next upload. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up to like it so that you can help me in my chances in the algorithm. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can. That's my handle right there. Otherwise, my friends, I'll be talking to you soon, and take care.